Hi kids, welcome back to the channel. Thought I'd drop this one in as close as possible to my current eyeball operation, which I'm having tomorrow as you're watching this. So one of the things I've been knocking on about is Barry Card and CollectorCon 2026. For those of you who are out of this area, Barry is a town in South Wales. It's a seaside town. It's known for Barry Island, which isn't quite an island. It's more a peninsula, kind of like Florida. But it's also the setting for a very popular sitcom called Gavin and Stacey. It's really beloved here in South Wales, obviously. And right in the heart of Barry is where last year the organisers had a convention. I was there just with my table, sort of promoting my film and stuff. And it was just really good fun. It was a summer event. It was over 2 days. They had plenty of decent guests, Katie Manning, Fraser Hines, artists and stuff. I can't list all the people off the top of my head. My memory's full of holes. But it was just a really good fun event. Outside was the Blues Brothers car, and there was Ghostbusters, and there was loads of cosplayers. There was a cosplay competition which I helped judge. I was there on the Saturday as Captain Jack Sparrow, one of the last times I've actually done it, and just good fun. And the organisers have decided to go bigger and better this year. Same venue, much better stars, and they've basically asked me if I would be the master of ceremonies at this year's event, which is cool because it's a return to comparing events like I did for over 10 years at the Cardiff International Tattoo Convention, which sadly doesn't happen anymore. So the event has got a lot going on, and I will be banging on about this a few times, but today's video is I decided to get my friend and one of the main organisers of B3C, which is Barry Card and CollectorCon, GLYN Robinson-Byrne. I used to work with GLYN about 20 years ago, longer than 20 years ago now, in BT when we worked at a call centre. And he's a sound guy, decent guy, and I got him on a Zoom call so we could have a natter about what's going on, what's being planned, any new announcements, that kind of thing. I think it's going to be tons of fun. And I'm not just saying that because I'm comparing. I'm not being paid to be the compare. I'm just helping the guys out. This is going to be fun. So without further ado, meet GLYN. Let's roll VT. Right then. Hello, mate. How you doing?
Hi Terry, how are you doing? You okay?
Every day has blurred into the other, basically. Um, yeah, it's that weird first, beginning of January thing. So it's like
I
trying to
know.
get your calendar sorted and everything for the year. So, nice t-shirt.
Thank you.
So you are the boss man, pretty much. It is a group effort. Obviously, there's yourself. Do you want to tell us a little bit, um, before we get into the weeds? Tell us a little bit about how B3C came around.
As you said, as a group effort, there's myself, there's my business partner, Greg Davis, who runs Spawn Point, and then there's our friend Dave, who is an accountant.
Okay.
So we did, myself and Greg and a few others did an event. I can't remember now because we're in 2026, so it's in 2024.
I made that mistake myself. I kept saying it last year, but it was last year in 2025. So it is, yeah, it was
Yeah,
2024. Yeah.
yeah, so it's 2024. We did the Barry Collector and as you know, you were there. Um,
Like I said, big success as well.
it was a massive success. Yeah, I mean, considering who we invited, it was brilliant, and um, we just ended doing that after the 2 days and thought, yes, we want to do this again, but we want to do it better. We want to go in a slightly different direction. Unfortunately, due to a few personal reasons, we couldn't do last year. So, but that gave us enough time to do some things in the background. So what we did, we sort of just regrouped and decided to form a company. which is called the Barry Card and Collecticon Limited. But we wanted to put an emphasis on the cards, on the card aspect, because we feel that that's important to as well to people, because a lot of people now collect Pokemon and play Pokemon.
Mm,
And obviously, my business partner Greg runs Spawn Point, which is predominantly a card collector, so he's very much up on that as well.
gotcha.
So with the company we formed, we just decided to do it, with a limited company, which we hope going forward, we can change into a community interest group.
Yeah. Well, I think the good thing about this one is you're not calling yourself Comic Con, because there are
No.
a lot of people have said over the years, and you've seen it as well. People have complained that these so-called Comic Cons don't have very much to do with comics. I think I went to a Comic Con in Birmingham, and there was basically zero comics. It was all Funko Pops and anime, and that was it. So I think that's a good thing. Now, initially, after the success of the 2024 event, you were at the time you were thinking of maybe a different venue, but you got back into contact with the people at Barry Memo Hall, and they've changed things up a little bit to allow you to do this event now, haven't they?
The Memo Art Centre have always been a big advocate of ours. They do some wonderful events, and again, they're a community group as well.
Hmm.
So we want to, first and foremost, B3C is a community. It's for the community. We
Yeah,
want it for Barry, because a lot of things which people may or may not know get filmed in Barry. A lot of the, like Doctor Who, for example, Casualty.
being
You know,
human.
yes, being human. Yeah. And and we just want to promote it. So this year now coming, they're going through a little bit of a refurb, which and they've given us more rooms as well, which is great. So
Yeah.
we've got slightly less, but slightly more, if that makes sense,
Mm.
to utilize. So we've got quite a lot of good things planned, coming up as well. So yeah, it's going to be, this one's going to be an interesting one, I think.
Yeah, well, my history with the Barry Memo Theatre goes back to 1993, 94, when to blow my own massive trumpet, my band had only in 94 my band had just split up. We just lost our record deal. These are showbiz kids. But we were invited to do a pop show with a number of different acts on there. So we were on stage. It was nice to play a big venue again after having toured with East 17 and stuff. We played a gig, and whoever organized it, I don't know the people, but they put us on with the Urban Cookie Collective, Wigfield, PJ and Duncan, and Boyzone. So we got to hang out with all of them. It was fantastic. And a
Oh,
number of other, not just my band, but a number of other smaller acts who wouldn't normally get on a stage with
yeah.
those kind of names. So it was a really good time. Anyway, self-promotion out the way. What let's quickly go through um the structure of the weekend, because I know some people worry about what ticket shall I get? Shall I get a Saturday or a Sunday? And will the guests be there both days and stuff like that? So what sort of stuff have you got planned for the Saturday?
So the way that we look at it with a weekend is that we've got so many guests, and we've got quite a lot on, that we don't think that Saturday is going to be long enough for people to go. Or, for example, they may want to go back again on the Sunday, because we are coming out with different things. Some of the things, the major thing we've got obviously is traders, and last in 2024, the eclectic mix of traders that we had. Again, because we want local traders. There are a lot of local traders who actually do their own work. We've got artists, we've got publishers, and just craft makers who do science fiction stuff or pop culture, and we want to promote that. So from on Saturday, it'll be a lot of fun. Just we want it to be fun, so there's going to be outside events. For example, we're going to have some cars that's going to be available
Yep.
there. We're going to have food vendors again this year because that was popular
That
last
was
year.
very popular. Yeah, having the
In
food guys
2024, sorry.
outside.
Yeah, so that was popular. And we've got, for example, we had the 501st Garrison, Star
Yeah.
Wars, reenactors, and they're an amazing group. I mean, you know yourself, you
Well,
used to be.
we've got a
Yeah,
mutual friend in Josh who was my tattooist and a mate of yours. So that's how.
and my tattoos. Yeah,
Well, yeah.
uh,
Well, I met him via you at
you did.
the Cardiff Tattoo Cons,
That's
and that
tattoo con.
because
Yeah, you got
Josh
your
was
first one.
interested in joining the UK Garrison. So that's
Yeah.
and I was part of the Garrison. Um, do you know what? I'm not part of a Garrison as such now because I don't have a costume. But should things change in the near future, I think I've been thinking about this quite a bit. I've been seeing they're celebrating their kind of formation now for a good few years, and I'm thinking I really would like a biker scout costume again. So that
Oh
might
wow.
that might happen one day if I can afford it.
I think also when you mentioned that on and off for a while because I know you always dabble with wanting to go back into doing the 501st.
Yeah, yeah.
You've had some really good kit costumes, that you've done. You're a lot with your stormtroopers
Well,
and
over time, I think I've built five stormtrooper
yeah,
costumes. But I had a biker scout way back in the day, and that reminds me of how comfortable that costume is. And also with a stormtrooper, you get the usual nonsense, which we're all tired of hearing. Aren't you too short for a stormtrooper? Did you miss me?
yeah,
Blah, blah, blah. Like they're the most original people in the world. Anyway, we digress. So yeah, the good thing about it having it on 2 days is that people can come back. They know where it is. And what I did like the fact that what you actually put a lot of thought into choosing the traders because some events they just have Tom, Dick, and Harry, anyone they can think of, no
yeah,
matter what size they are. And it's good that you're actually considering who to pick and, strategically pick some local and smaller people who would
yeah.
normally not, would get squeezed out of a big event kind of thing.
It's important to us to do that because we want to stay and we want to first you want to do this yearly. We want to stay within the memo um, structure because it suits us and they're very
Yeah.
accommodating. But also, it's the heart of Barry,
Yeah.
and this is what This is what I can't stress enough. This is for Barry. I know people will come from around, but it's not Cardiff and surrounding have got quite a lot of conventions. It's actually getting quite saturated at the moment, which is
Yeah.
great because yourself we used to struggle to go to a convention, didn't we?
Yeah.
And now you've got them on your doorstep. But we want Barry to be its own thing. We want it to be something where we get involved with the locals and just invite the local traders and give them a platform
Yeah.
to sell their goods on.
Yeah. I mean, Barry Island, especially for me being, having moved to Wales when I was about 10, one of the first places we went to was Barry Island. And it's because
Yeah,
it's a seaside town, it's synonymous with the summer, and fun fairs. And they had the pleasure park, which I don't know if it's still going. I think it's kind of still going. Um, but it's a seaside town and there's no better, it's nice to have something like that right on your doorstep,
yeah,
right down by the seaside. So if somebody wants to do a couple of hours at the convention, and they'd be like, well, we could pop down to the sea, and also the
yeah,
seafront is where they film Gavin and Stacey as well. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like it's like having a huge set on your doorstep as well. So
It
that's
is,
really
and I
nice.
think that the whole point of what we're doing is making sure that people can go back and forth. So if they wanted, there are good train links
Yeah,
to get to the memo. You've got Barry Dock and the Barry station, and you could go over to Barry Island. So as you said, you can pop out, go over to Barry, and hopefully the weather will be with us like it was in 2024 because it was
Scorcher,
phenomenal.
Scorcher.
It was nice, and then you can come back, and we're not going to obviously penalise people and anything like that. Enjoy Barry. It's an amazing place. And the island is still, the fairground is still there. The
Yeah.
slot machines are still there. And
I mean, all
it's
the food places and it's sandy beaches.
yeah,
There's a
yeah,
number of bays.
of course,
And well, also about Barry, I mean, people who probably aren't from South Wales area won't realize there are three train stations, like you just mentioned. There's Barry
Yeah,
Docks, Barry, and Barry Island. So they're all within kind of walking distance of each other.
yeah.
But it's having three stations means you can choose where to get on and off, kind of thing. And it's only a few stops from Cardiff itself, so it's not difficult to get to. It's easy to find. It's a pleasant walk from any one of the stations.
Yeah.
Um, so the one thing everyone will keep asking, even though you've announced it many times, let's go through your guest list because you've got a cracking
Yeah, yeah.
lineup.
Let's do it.
I'll put some pictures up on screen while we're talking, so you just give us some names.
Okay. So obviously the big guest we've got is Matt Horn.
Matthew Horn from Gavin and Stacey. Yeah.
Yeah, so Matt is one of the ones that we were wanting to get from the get-go. And I think we were lucky enough to manage to get him, and did did us it does a lot of favors trying to get him, because it's sort of why we're grounding it in Barry, because Gavin and Stacey was very and still is very popular. There's still tours going
Yeah,
on,
absolutely.
and having him there, I think, is our present. Let's call it a present to Barry, and say, look, he's here. If you want to come and meet him, if you want to have your photos taken, get
Yeah.
autographs. Hopefully, there's a few other little things that we're going to try and sort, but
Yeah.
we will. I'm just trying to grab my list in a minute. There we go. Because that's the thing with this thing. With this is you do it, and then you just, it's just trying to remember them all in your head.
Yeah.
So, Chris Barry,
Chris Barry.
lovely guy.
Yeah, I mean, most people will think Red Dwarf straight away.
Yeah.
But being of a certain age, I first heard of Chris Barry's voice first on Spitting Image. He was
And I
doing
did.
Ronald Reagan and loads of others.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he got his start, I think, on the Jasper Carrot show,
Yeah.
doing impressions and stuff and doing little guest spots. He's an absolute legend. I mean, I've never met him, but I'd love to. I have
He's
emailed
a
him in
lovely
the
guy.
past, and yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, he's a top bloke.
Yeah. Very amiable as well. When I met him many years ago, he was doing the whole runner salute, and he's
Yeah.
doing one of my favorite things about him. He does an amazing Kenneth Williams.
Oh, yes,
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
He's
he does
Kenneth
an
Williams.
amazing.
He's on the Smeg Ups video. He does a great one, but
Yeah, but he does
but
an amazing. But
I
he's
mean
happy to
that's what
do
I
it.
like about some guests. I mean, I don't expect guests to be performing monkeys and jump through hoops and say every line that they're famous for saying, but just to be accepting of the roles that made them famous and be
Yeah,
willing to have a little bit of a laugh is great. I mean, um, this is going to be a very unpopular take, but I kind of had enough of Harrison Ford being grumpy old man and going, "Yeah, I don't want to talk about Star Wars." I'm like, "Come on, dude. You're famous for three things: just Indiana Jones, Star Wars, and Blade Runner, mainly." I know he's had a great career, but this whole grumpy old man thing has got to
yeah.
stop,
No,
man.
I agree. I was watching something earlier, Willie. I think he was giving Dame Helen Mirren the Golden Globe for lifetime achievement, and
Right.
it was mixed with funny, but you sort of look at it and you think, yeah, that shtick is gone now, because
Yeah,
you get on
he was
stage
quite
and
abrasive. I'd
he
rather someone
was.
like if you like, who knows? Maybe one day you'll get Mark Hamill at one of your events, and
Oh,
Mark Hamill will play up to the crowd. He come running on at was it Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon uh, with the guy from Severance, and he just comes running
oh,
in with a lightsaber.
yeah, I can't think what the actor's name is now, but he was a dyed-in-the-wool Star Wars fan, and
Totally, and he
know,
was freaking out, wasn't he?
and
Because he'd never met
yeah, and
Mark
see an
Hamill.
actor freak out of another actor, I always find that amusing anyway. So yeah,
Yeah,
it
I'll
takes
put a
people
still
out.
up. I won't put video, but I'll put a still up of him meeting him.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so yeah, so we've got Chris Barry,
So we got
and Matthew
Norman
Horn.
Lovett.
Who's next?
Norman Lovett.
Norman Lovett. Well, let's pair him
Holly.
up with the other Holly. So you've got Norman
Fantastic.
Lovett and
Yeah, I got the both of them. So I've met Norman. That's a funny story, actually. I usually like to try and get people's autographs, but
yeah,
Norman was actually at a convention years ago, and he was actually at the
yeah,
bar, and I wasn't sort of starstruck, as just amused by him, because he was always on. Because he's a comedian, so
right,
funny. But yeah, he was such a likable guy, and
yeah,
he's like that in real life, but he's just very, very on the ball, very wow, boom, boom, boom,
yeah.
witty.
And again, when they brought in Hattie Hayridge then as the second
Yeah,
Holly, again they picked another comedian. Um,
brilliant as well. She's so funny.
and now so at the moment that's three red dwarfs. So any dwarfers out there, you gonna want to get yourself down to Cardiff. But um, the red dwarf contingent is going to be huge this year.
Also, as well, which we just managed to do, and this is why I was sort of pulling what's left of my hair out, to be honest, because I wanted to get Doug Naylor
Mm.
because I am obviously being a huge Dyed in the Wall Red Dwarf fan. I've always,
Co-creator and writer.
I
Yeah.
always wanted to meet him, so I reached out to him to get him, and he was very amiable because he's just written a new book, which this year we'll see. It looks a good book. It escapes me. So, but his new book, but I think he'll be there with the new book.
Is it
But
is it a book? Is it a red dwarf book or is it more a
no, no,
kind
no,
of
no. It's
behind the
just a
scenes
separate thing he's written. But
story? Yeah.
yeah, but I know when I reached out, he was very keen on coming down, and that's one of many fanboy moments for me because
Yeah.
I've always wanted to ask him so many questions about Red
Yeah.
Dwarf. I know you see a lot in the outtakes and a lot in the things, but in the making of. But no, it genuinely for me when he said just took a little while to because what we do, just a little bit of a background scoop, is when we get and we agree the terms, we say to the actors or their agents, can you send us a picture you want us to use and a write up because we don't want to get anything wrong. We don't want to offend anybody.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of an issue with that in 2024, which I won't go into, but so we make sure we get it right this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, and so it took him a little while because he was doing a tour of the bookstores doing his book, so it took a little while to get him. But he was happy enough through. He was very apologetic, and again out of the blue, he just sort of turned around and said, "Oh, by the way, I know I owe you this," and I was like, "Brilliant, thank you."
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome because now not only have you got co-creator and writer Doug Naylor, then you've got three of the stars. Um, that's a big pull for a
Yeah,
quote unquote small event. Now, I'm not using small event in a derogatory term because I've given up on the very big events
yeah,
over time. Like I said, I went to one in Birmingham. And I mean, obviously, I'm at a certain age. I mean, dressed as Jack Sparrow, I didn't. It doesn't have the effect as it used to have. People are more into the anime and gaming now.
yeah.
Um,
It's a different world now to
it is.
when we.
It's a totally different world,
It is.
and there are other big events that are nice and glossy, and everyone likes to go to. But I have more fun in a more
Mm,
intimate setting, like a smaller hotel or a venue and that kind of thing. I've also
yeah,
got one or two slightly sort of ethical reasons for not going to some of the big events.
yeah. There is that, and I
You
understand
hear things and you know,
yeah,
you hear
yeah,
things and you just think, well, you got to be very careful what events you support. So, I mean, this one again, it's homegrown, it's people
yeah.
local, it's local to me. You've already proved it by having a amazing event, year before last, um, and just a good fun summer atmosphere.
It
Um,
was good. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
we were surprised. I think we surprised ourselves with the warmth that the people who came brought to it because
because I mean, with every event's not going to run 1,000,000% smoothly,
no,
but I'm
no.
fairly sure you didn't get any major complaints, did you?
No, I mean, I think with hindsight, what we did do was we tried to do zones in 2024 where we had comic zone, artist zone, that type of thing.
Okay.
And the way that the memo was structured, as you know, it's got like all these different floors.
Yeah.
So the artists were at the top, and they felt that not many people were coming up to see them, which
Gotcha.
I understood that. We understood that at the end. So we sort of did our best to try and bring them from upstairs when, after day one into day two. So, yeah, that was a learning curve for us. And so, we're battling at the moment with a little bit of where they're doing their renovation. So we're hoping that, fingers crossed that all the renovation is done,
Hmm.
which I'm sure it will be. The memo have been pretty open about that.
I mean, to be honest, from a convention goer's point of view, I don't think punters really mind too much if you don't have, everything grouped into zones. I think they're going to wander around as long as they know which rooms are available and which floors are
Yeah.
signposted. they'll probably enjoy just discovering stuff there and then. I don't think anyone turns up with a map and goes, right, I'm only going to the artist zone, or I'm only going to the guest zone, or whatever, you know. So I think knowing a lot of comic book artists as we both do,
Yeah.
they'll be happy to be spread around if need be, or put, in nicer spots and not tucked away, you know.
I think having an artist alley, which we're trying to do, is good. To be honest, because this year now we've got a lot of new authors
Yeah,
which approached us and said, can we come to the event? And we're, and it's been really good. And obviously we've got a mutual friend, Sean from Candy Jar, and and having him there as well, which he's going to be a big plug. Sean's going to be there. It's going to be great because these authors can chat with him. So
yeah,
it's that self-fulfilling prophecy thing where we're giving back to
yeah.
linking like we did when we you mentioned with Josh we're making people get networking people,
Yeah, and I think all the comic artists. I mean, there's quite a good comic artist and writer scene in South Wales in general, and they all
amazing.
know each other.
Oh yeah,
And
there's some brilliant
and
there's
the
some great
big
artists.
hub in the middle of the spoked wheel is Mike Collins,
Oh,
um,
Mike
who's an
Mike
absolute legend.
just such a nice guy as well. I mean, this guy is just drawn, and storyboards for the BBC.
I mean,
He's
what hasn't he done? I mean, he's worked for
Doctor
Marvel and
Who.
DC and
Yeah.
Panini. But I bought a book a couple of years ago all about the creation of the film Watchmen, and it went all the way back to the creation of the graphic novel. And Dave Gibbons, the artist, was talking about blah blah blah, and he said I was in a pub and I was talking to some friends, and I asked them, I said, well, I've just had this script for something called Watchmen from Alan Moore. Do you think I should do it? And I wasn't too sure. But then it was Mike Collins who said, yeah, Dave, you should go for it. And I was like, Mike Collins was kind of instrumental in Watchmen being made.
I
How
didn't
cool
know
is
that.
that?
That's actually really, yeah. I could imagine that because, as you said, with Mike, he doesn't blow his own trumpet very much.
No, no.
He's such a laid back guy, and when you meet him, because I've actually got some of his artwork,
Me too. Me too.
as well, and when you meet Mike, and especially with a lot of the British Marvel stuff he did as well, which is stuff
Yeah,
I was reading. Yeah, he's just an absolute legend, and I was glad he said yes to coming along.
yeah,
So he's one. I think Patrick Goddard as well
yeah.
from Path. Now Patrick, he for his artwork, especially Judge Dredd. I mean, his Dredd work is just wow. It's
Mm,
just out as well. I mean, I actually got a signed photo from Patrick.
mm.
Sorry, signed bit of art from Patrick. And again, I reached out and said, "Are you interested?" And he said, "Well, when we down the road, I'll come." And this is what is brilliant because these people are saying it's a local event. We will give our time for it.
Yeah, yeah. Right. So give us another name then.
So we got a bit of a. So when we first did this, or when I first started doing this, a client, our one of our agent said that they had somebody who was a bit of a deep cut,
Okay.
as we call it, and I was like, okay, yeah. So who's that going to be? And happened to be the wonderful Hugo Myatt from
Hugo
Night.
Myatt from
Hugo
Nightmare.
Myatt, yeah. So lovely deep cut from the '80s, which absolutely, love him to bits.
Yeah, do you know what? I think I like events that do have a mix of sort of the popular and also the not so popular because the crowds are going to be of different ages and stuff.
Yeah,
And then for people like you and me to see someone like Hugo Myatt, who played Treeguard, who's
Trigger,
in
yeah,
yeah in ITV's
Nightmare.
Nightmare. A lot of people obviously younger than us are going to go, what you talking about, who you talking about, but just quickly for the viewers, Nightmare was a ITV afternoon show. Basically a game show for kids,
Yeah,
but it used green screen and computer graphic technology to put kids into a sort of Dungeons and Dragons type scenario. And Hugo Myatt was playing. Am I saying his name right? Treeguard. Treeguard.
Trigger,
Treeguard. And
yeah.
him and a bunch of other live action characters and actors would act as the hosts and the kind of dungeon masters, And
Gatekeepers to the next level you'd have to do because they were
yeah,
timed as well.
yeah, and
So
the
yes. very precursor to the Crystal Maze.
Absolutely. It was very much like that, but with computer graphic rooms and
Yeah,
stuff. And it ran for something like, was it 8 seasons or something, 8 series?
about 8 seasons.
And
It was
the
so
cast changed,
popular.
but Hugo stayed there from start to
It did,
finish.
yeah.
And
And it is that thing that's burnt into your retina
sure.
when you think of Dungeons and Dragons, and I mean that whole genre which I'm into. I mean, you can go back to a lot of the people like Gary Gygax and all who created it, but that. But for me, it was Hugo Maya who made me want to sit up and go, "This is on TV."
Yeah.
This program you can actually, you go spell casting, and then you'd say the word, you spell the word. So, spell casting EXIT exit, and it
Yeah.
would, that type of thing. It was just genius, absolute
Yeah,
genius.
it added another dimension to what was initially a board
Yeah,
game, and some people were like probably wouldn't get into a board game, but when the D&D kind of craze came along in the 80s, it's like ITV quite cleverly said, how can we open up the world of fantasy gaming to kids
yeah,
who might only want to watch telly? So they put this show on, and I'm absolutely convinced lots of people have got into D&D from their
I did.
childhood watching Nightmare.
Yeah,
And on top of that, D&D has never been more popular. You've
no,
got all sorts of people like Deborah Ann Wall from Daredevil being a dungeon master and having a show all about D&D, and you've got the guild, and you've got,
yeah,
all these things. It's always popular. So, I think Hugo's going to go down quite well with the guests there who definitely
yeah.
like the D&D thing, because
Oh,
he's
definitely,
one of
yeah.
the tent poles, one of the founding fathers of that kind of thing that kept the D&D flag flying. Okay, give us another name.
So, I think we can't have a convention, without Doctor Who. You
Well,
know, well,
since
I mean, look, I mean, I got my Doctor Who tattoo there. I'm a dyed-in-the-wool Doctor Who fan, and now
says the guy with the
there we
Cyberman.
go.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, so I mean, I don't get this argument over classic versus new, because there's good points to both. But I think um, we've managed to get some of the really good, some good doctors. I mean, for me, my goat and most misrepresented one is got to be Paul McGann.
yeah. Oh, do you know what?
He's he's so good.
He's always been beloved.
Yeah.
For that one TV movie for the Americans in 1996. Even though the story was set in 1999, um, what a lot of people don't realize is that although it was a kind of a standalone, um, some people are saying, "Oh, well, it was kind of a flop." Well, it was a flop in terms of the Americans didn't pick it up for a TV series, which actually wasn't such a bad thing.
No, no,
But
exactly.
but what people don't realize is when it aired in the States, it didn't get very good ratings because the
No,
Americans didn't get Doctor Who. But in the UK, the ratings went through the roof.
it did. Yeah.
Because people hadn't seen Doctor Who since 1989, and then it came back, and they were like, "Wow!" And everyone tuned in. And if you go back and watch it now, no matter what you think of it, if you haven't seen it for a while, and you go back and watch the Doctor Who movie with Paul McGann, there is so much connective tissue between that and Russell T Davis's 2005 continuation with Christopher Eccleston, from the design of the TARDIS, incidental music, the framing, the cinematic kind of feel. Um, and Paul McGann has said himself, even recently, he said, I'm at once the longest and the shortest Doctor. Because he
Yeah.
said, I've been playing the Doctor since 96, and I've done all these big finishes, but I'm also, had the smallest amount of screen time. But when he came back for the Night of the Doctor and the 50th
Yeah.
anniversary, everyone, including myself, jumped out of their seat and was like,
I remember when it was announced, because there was rumors, wasn't there? And I remember when they announced it, and on the 50th anniversary, and I was just waiting with anticipation. I watched it, and it was just like, oh my god, this
yeah,
is
they did that whole thing of you hear his voice go, I'm a doctor, but probably not the one you were expecting. And you go, wow.
yeah,
And the thing is, like, he's a passionate fan. Um, and also he's the name that pops up when Doctor Who has recently had sort of controversial, problems. It's been not been received too great with certain aspects of it. People always the fans keep coming back and saying, look, while you're sorting out the main show, just give us a Paul McGann miniseries. That's all everyone keeps asking for. And
yeah,
you can bet your bottom dollar I'm going to be asking him about this and go, right. imagine now you get a call from the BBC or some production company says we're going to do a 8-part Paul McGann miniseries. Would you do it? And I'm pretty sure he'd say yes, wouldn't he?
So I think there's a good couple of things there. I mean, obviously, as Whovians, we know that when Big Finish was formed, it was him that basically carried, Doctor Who. Through. I mean, obviously, we had a lot of the, the books and stuff, but he
Yeah,
carried the name still through the Big Finish audio, and he has an absolutely astonishing library. And
yeah,
he trailblazed for things like people like Tom Baker and even Christopher Eccleston, to
yeah,
name but a few that actually worked for Big Finish.
yeah,
So that's the one of the things I always admire him for was his body of work that he did, keeping Doctor Who alive between the bridge, so to speak. But
yeah,
also, I met him years ago in Cardiff, and he was such a lovely bloke, very lovely to speak to, very self-deprecating as well. And
yeah,
I remember, and he was one of the few people I had my professional photo taken with,
yeah,
which we're obviously doing at the fair, at the convention, sorry. And then it was good because he actually made me feel at ease because he knew I was fanboying out over him,
yeah.
and that sort of thing. But I think now as well, I'm not sure, I can't guarantee whether he'll do it this year, but I know he does turn up in costume as well.
Yeah, because his costume has changed, since the
Oh, he
1996
actually does,
movie,
isn't
and he's gone for a more kind of blue leather jacket, satchel, that kind of look, and it's
he?
a bit more casual. And it's it's going to be awesome to have him there and meet him. And we're going to do an edit in 5 minutes, so we've just got time to slip in one more doctor. Let's talk about a doctor who's very close to my heart, uh,
Yes, I
Colin
know why.
Baker,
I know,
because.
yeah. I was going to say I know exactly why he was close to your heart, but
Yeah,
yeah,
well, regular viewers of my channel might have heard me mention that Colin Baker came down to Cardiff and recorded the audio version of my first sci-fi novel. He
yeah,
sat in a recording studio for 9 hours and did 25 characters. And even then, he said to me, "Well, why don't you come in the studio and voice one of the characters?" And I'm like, "Well, I thought you'd want to do it." He's like, "No, no, help yourself." So he came in and he sat there for 9 hours, read like a pro, and then we hadn't finished by the end of the Saturday. He had a play to do in the new theatre in Cardiff. So he said, "Don't worry, I'll come back tomorrow to finish off for a couple of hours." So he gave up his Sunday basically for us. And he said, when he came in, he said, "Where were you last night?" And I said to him, I said, "Yeah, well, me and Sean from Candy Jar, we were in the crowd, we saw the play." And he said, "Yeah, but I came out to the stage door looking for you, expecting you to be there, and we didn't even realize." But
yeah.
the other, I mean, I said to him straight away, which made Sean nearly spit his Coke out because Sean doesn't drink tea. Um, I almost like I didn't say it rudely, but I said, to be honest, you weren't my favorite doctor at all.
I think he
And
was anybody's favourite, really. He was, he's very much one of those ones that you rediscover.
Marmite, yeah. And the thing is, like though he handled it so graciously, he said, "I totally understand." He
He
said,
knows, yeah,
he said to me, and this stuck with me because it's absolutely true. He said, "Look, at the time, the BBC was getting tired of Doctor Who. They
yeah.
didn't understand it. They didn't like it. You had Michael Grade saying, 'Why can't we get rid of it?'
Yeah.
And he was forcing John Nathan Turner to make cuts and
So
even to
yeah,
fire him."
JNT was always not known for his, his let's just say he wasn't known for his diplomacy, was he?
No,
As
and he was
uh,
Colin said, and this is the bit I'll remember, he said, "If Tom Baker was the doctor at the same time as me, he would have been treated exactly the same."
yeah.
Because the climate had changed for the viewers. People were getting tired of Doctor Who, especially the suits, not so much the audience, but the suits.
And I
And
think, and I think with Colin as well, you had all this nice doctor, nice stuff coming up, but then Colin played him very bombastic. He
yeah,
put a
and well, that
spin
was the
on it, and,
thing.
and I like that.
It
I
was a
did like that
tonal
originally.
change, wasn't it? And they
Yeah,
like,
yeah, a
I
very
mean, it
tonal
worked
change.
with Peter Capaldi. They made him abrasive to begin with and
Yeah,
softened him over time, which is what the plan for Colin was.
that's what.
And
Yeah,
he said, unfortunately, we didn't get to round that up. But he's never been bitter about it. He said at the
No,
time he was not happy, obviously, and he felt he had a short, you know, his career as a doctor was cut a little bit short because of that. But he's always been a massive ambassador and a supporter of the show in all its forms. And he always turns up to as many events as possible, wherever
yeah.
possible. And he's the last time I saw him was a couple of years after we'd recorded my book, and I walked straight up to him and he saw me and he said, "We haven't agreed on the second book yet." I asked, "Yeah, you have to speak to my people." No, no, listen, he was just having a great laugh. So
Yeah.
he's great. Um, right, what I think I'm going to do is we're going to edit here, and we're back. Still on the topic of Doctor Who, you've got one more to announce.
Yeah, Peter Davison, number five,
The fifth Doctor, yeah.
crickety cricket.
Yeah. I think a lot of people he's an underrated Doctor because he
Yeah.
came after Tom Baker, the mighty Tom Baker after 7 years. People
Mm.
kind of oh, it's not the same, it's not the same, but he carved out a niche of his own, you
And he
know.
was young as well. If you remember
He
how
was
young
the
he was.
youngest Doctor at the time,
Yeah,
beaten only now by Matt Smith, I think,
yeah.
for being a young Doctor. But he didn't play it like a young Doctor, really. His character was more of a big brother rather than a
Yeah,
grandfather or a father.
yeah, I think he was very much your best friend as well. He was very he wove a nice little bit of old fashionedness into a young body.
Yeah, he wasn't sort of dark and scary. He wasn't your Peter Capaldi. He was more a kind of a bit like a Matt Smith. It's quite friendly.
Oh, Braveheart, wasn't it? You say Braveheart Tegan, and
That's
it
right.
was something
Yeah.
that things wouldn't do. And I still maintain that some of the best regenerations I like. I mean, I always like Planet of the Spiders for Pertwee because he's my favorite Doctor. I
Yeah.
also, Kazam Tazani,
Oh yeah,
just
that was
just
his big dramatic
amazing.
part, wasn't it? He loved it.
Yeah. I mean, it was the first time I suppose you ever saw the Doctor getting properly sort of
Yes, worried, and he was
in
like,
problem. Yeah,
Is this death?" He's like, "This feels different this time." He said, didn't he? He said, "Is this death?"
yeah,
And one of the stories he always tells, he said, "Oh, I was pulling out all the stops of, do my best dramatic acting, and in the background was the lovely Nicola Bryant, um, sort of crouched over him, so people could kind of see that down there." And he said, "No one was watching my acting; they were watching Nicola Bryant."
yeah.
But you've got Nicola Bryant coming to the event as
That's, I
well.
would say, segues nicely onto Nicola Bryant. I mean, you know, um, Purple Gillian Brown. I mean, what can we say about that? About her as assistant. I mean, we all know the story. What if you don't? I mean, she's not American.
No,
Uh,
and the
she
thing
could,
is,
she, the
not many
accent,
people
honestly,
knew, even
you
in the
know,
production, didn't realize that she wasn't American.
and she was, she was a very. I liked her because she was very much stood up to the Doctor as well, and I think it was you know, I think she brought so much wisdom and questioning to the Doctor to that role, and she's paired with with Colin, and I think as well, them two together were very dynamic. So she had
Yeah. A lot of
pretty interesting Doctors.
these companions now, the way they do it is they join one Doctor, but then they kind of smooth over the transition into a new Doctor. So where Perry did actually start with Peter Davison, she kind of accepted as being Colin Baker's main assistant.
Yeah,
And the same way that let's go back to Sarah Jane Smith. She started
yeah,
with John Pertwee, but she's
agree.
kind of synonymous with Tom Baker and that kind
Tom
of
Baker.
way.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, it's the same with Katie Mann and that type of thing. But I think when you get the crossover from one to the other, at some point. I think look, the new Who has sort of dispelled that, especially with
Well,
Jenna.
I don't know. I would say that Clara, she came
That's
in
a
with
Jenna
Matt
Coleman.
Smith,
Yeah, she stayed quite a lot with
Peter Capaldi.
Peter as well. Yeah, so that sort of
Yeah.
dispelled the myth a little bit that as soon as the Doctor came, the assistant had to go.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, Rose Tyler did as well because
Yeah,
they didn't sort of recycle the companions very quickly in the early 2005 era. She stayed with Eccleston and mostly Davidson.
she
Sorry,
did.
that David Tennant, and then
Yeah,
obviously they replaced her with Martha Jones, and Martha Jones with Donna, and et cetera, et cetera. Um, So is that all the Doctor Who people so far?
So that's all the Doctor Who people.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
then,
look, three doctors and a
yeah, and
companion.
a companion. Yeah, I
Ah,
mean, what we didn't want to do, and this is not a disparaging any of the guests that we had in 2024, but I didn't want to try and get the same guests again because if
sure.
you'd gone to 2024 and for example you
You'd
saw,
have your photo with them and your
yeah.
autographs.
I mean we could have. I mean I would have loved to have Katie Manning again,
Yeah,
but I just felt that we wanted to do some deep cuts as well because the whole point of this is to cater to the people who want to see Doctor Who and Red Dwarf and other things. But bringing on to our next guest is someone with the gravitas of Dame Sian Phillips.
yeah, yeah.
I
Now,
mean,
again, she's Welsh, isn't she? Is
she's
she Welsh?
Welsh. Yes, she is. No, she's
She was
Welsh,
in
yeah.
Dune, the original David Lynch
Was.
film of Dune.
I think she was in. I mean, she's one of these people that she's got such a catalogue of things that she's done that you could probably. I mean, she's a Doctor Who. You could pull out. I think she was. You could pull out pretty much everything that she was in domestically in the
Yeah,
UK. Back in the 70s, well, 60s, 70s, and 80s, and she was in I Claudius,
yeah.
which is
Very
still
good.
a masterpiece. So, and I think that so for me satisfies what I want to meet her. I mean, she's she's nearly 100 now, so
Oh my goodness.
she's in her 90. So it's like fragile, handled with care. So,
Yeah,
I'm really sort of really wanted to meet her, but I think there's a demographic of people who have grown up just on TV series who
yeah,
would know Sian Phillips as the staple of a lot of programs. So
yeah.
she just deserves to be there, and she was very happy to come back to Wales, of course, and
That's
especially back.
brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and they do say, there's this phrase, I said it in a recent video, give people their flowers while they're still alive, and Sean Phillips, like the great Tom Baker, they're getting on in years and they won't always be with us. And it's nice that they're still willing to face the fans and, I hope you guys take good care of her and don't
Keeping
stress her out
well,
too much.
no, well, once I know she's keeping fit because her agent has said that she likes to sort of go to the gym and that type of thing, even at her
Wow.
advanced years. And that to me is like when you see Tom Baker as he is now. I
Yeah.
mean, you're like, wow, these people are still, they're not resting on their laurels, and
Oh,
that's what.
they're still kicking it. And look at Dick Van Dyke just turned 100 and he said he
God,
still goes to the
yeah,
gym
yeah,
every
exactly.
day. That's
Oh,
incredible.
wouldn't he be a good guest to get looped in back for Dick Van
I
Dyke?
know, right? Um, okay, so that's the Doctor Who contingent. So what are we going to move on to now?
So we've got, for example, we've got some artists like Alex Mines, who's local. He's great. I mean, Alex is known for doing a lot of his Star Wars trading cards, and he does a
Yeah,
lot of the artwork on them. And he does. And this isn't one of the new things that I love. A few artists do this, but they do. They'll draw you a trading card,
mm,
like a little bit of art. So instead of having your poster, people who
yeah,
now collect Pokemon trading cards, you can get a bespoke one done. And
right.
that I love. I love that. I love the idea. It's just like when I suppose when commissions were the thing and that. So Alex will do that. We'll do that. We also have the amazing and friend of our convention, Nathan Wyburn.
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
Nathan is known to us at Candy Jar because we did a book on his food paintings. That he's presented to
he
celebrities all over the world. So he's great as well.
I just cannot rate Nathan enough. I mean, this is somebody who's not only a good artist, who went on, I think it was Britain's Got Talent. I'm sure he'll needle me if I get it wrong, but Britain's Got Talent decided to use everyday objects, like like for example, I don't know, like Marmite or something, and
Yeah,
draw use toast. And
that's right.
this guy, not only is he met some of the best people. So not he's and he's commissions and everything. He's booked up. But not only is he does he do that, but he's such a lovely guy.
Yeah.
very humble with it. And I know, and just maybe a little bit of an exclusive. I know this year he will be doing some artwork for one of the guests, but I'm not
Oh,
going to.
cool.
So you
Brilliant.
may see him in action, but he wants to do one of the guests there. So, and it'll be nice to see his work as well. But he's fine. And then one of the last people I wanted to touch on is a guy I've invited called James Sutton. Now, James is a prop maker, and
Yes.
he's a walking almanac of not only is he a walking almanac of anything to do with behind the scenes and to do with props and everything to do with the BBC. He's a massive prop maker, but he's also like me. He's got a massive passion for sonic screwdrivers.
Right, right.
So he builds them, and the latest Peter Davison season that got released,
Yes, he built the Sonic for
he built the
that,
new Sonic for that.
and it's
Yeah,
beautiful. It's
yeah,
absolutely beautiful.
yeah. I don't think he'll mind me saying if you know that I think he's looking to sort of get the license to do them, and
Yeah,
I've been on my knees begging him to
yeah.
please do it because again an exclusive. He will be doing a talk at the event. He the way one of the ways I got to know him was he was I know quite a lot of the prop makers anyway through different things. So I know about 3 or 4 prop makers,
Yeah.
but with James, he actually went to America and he did a whole lecture on the evolution of the Sonic.
Wow.
And he took them with him, but he did a proper deep dive into this is how they did, why they changed. And
Yeah.
I remember watching his TED Talk type thing, and I was so blown away. I contacted him immediately and said, "Can you come to this?"
And do the same
We, we
talk.
we've got mutual friends, and he just went absolutely, and I was like, "Oh, thank you,"
Yeah.
because we all know, Terry, that we've got good cosplayers.
Mm.
We all know people who collect Doctor Who. I mean, you've cosplayed, and we know all the cosplay community. But this is a guy who's actually designs the Sonic. Who's been the part of the team who designs Sonics, but he's also cosplayed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So so this is part of the ethos of what we want to do is bring in someone like him again. We probably wouldn't. You probably never see him at another convention. You probably wouldn't see him at a big convention.
True.
However, he's a deep cut again, isn't it? And this is what we want our conventions to be. Very much, you're not going to
Yeah.
see what you're gonna get at your cookie cutter conventions.
Yeah, well, I mean, after I saw the Peter Davison promotional film, I saw a little clip on Instagram of how James made the Sonic. I'm like, man, that is beautiful because
Yeah.
it takes from all different doctors and stuff. And then I dropped him a message and he said, "Oh, I'm doing the Barry Con." I was like, "Are you?" So I was like,
It
"Great, we'll
is.
meet up. We'll have a chat." So that would be awesome.
Yeah, no, he is, and we've got the crew, and that's what's the last thing as well is we got the curators TARDIS again from
Northampton, it's David.
last year, 2024.
Mm.
Yeah, and you know him, so and you know how he is, and so we'll have photo opportunities, and we've got the person who loves doing that, which is Paul McGann. He
Yeah.
loves TARDIS. He loves going in and out of it.
Well, in
So
fact, David Nagel's TARDIS is based on the Paul McGann box anyway.
it
And
is,
Paul,
yeah.
he's been at Big Finish, he's been at all these things. Paul McGann basically is like, "You're just borrowing my TARDIS. This is mine." So,
I think you're going to be in as you would say, Terry, convenient oils with that one, mate.
oh, absolutely. I
Having
mean,
your photo taken with the eighth card.
it's no secret that I've banged on about this for years. I really want to try and get an audition or to play the master for Big Finish.
Yeah,
The
you do a
Roger
really good
Delgado
master,
master.
very good
And
master.
yeah, even before I knew I could do the Roger Delgado voice, I was like, I'd love to get a role in Big Finish, and I didn't know what I could do or whatever. But I thought if I could find myself in the studio one day acting opposite, Colin Baker or Peter Davison, I'd be over the moon. But if I can get to play the master, I mean, I don't know if it's doable. Obviously, it's a logistics thing for you guys, and you probably haven't sorted it out yet. But if I can get all 3 doctors on stage while I'm dressed as the master, and I can royally rib the lot of them and explain that this is the perfect opportunity to rid myself of the universe of 3 doctors, then that would be great. But I just don't know.
Let's look at that then, because I mean, you're our compare,
Yes, yes.
and you will be there all weekend, in your capacity as our compere, making sure he has a lot of fun.
Yeah,
But we are looking at doing, and again, another exclusive, are doing some panels.
yeah,
So if we do a panel, we're going to obviously do a Doctor Who panel. We're obviously going to
sure.
have the three Doctors, and we're going to have Nicola Bryant there.
Yeah.
So May the Master might make a little sneaky appearance.
That would be something that would be very, very interesting and add a touch of fun to it. Talking of fun and compares, it's not just me. We You do have another little guest who's much fun and well beloved as well. Um, well, he's more
Dean,
of a guest than a compare.
with
Um,
Dean.
yes,
Dean
yes.
Saw. Yeah, no,
Dinosaur, the great Dean Morris.
Dean is. Well, I personally think he must be unhinged. I think, but but no, I mean,
Oh, he's
seriousness.
well, yeah. Well, I mean, if you're watching
I
this,
think he
Dean,
admitted himself to
hello,
not.
but you're not right. You're not right in the end. But who doesn't love Dean Morris? I mean, he's got like very close to, I think, well, I think he's hit 1 million TikTok followers now.
His
Nine hundred
content is just
thousand
so
on
good.
Instagram or something.
Yeah, I mean, anybody, if you're watching this, anybody, go and try and find him. Like,
Yeah, I mean, he's just a natural funny guy, a comedian,
yeah, he
and he's
is. He,
caring and he's helpful, and always a good time when he's around. There's never been anything bad said about him. He's just a nice guy, and
yeah,
I was
the
trying to have a
videos.
conversation with him in Swansea, and there were kids running up to me, going, excuse me, can I have a photo with Dean?" Because they've seen him. He's almost world famous now. It's brilliant.
And he's got, and I think one of the things I like about him as well is not only is he into his dinosaurs, but he actually does his ducks as well. So, and
Yeah,
I quite like ducks, so he's got a bit of a thing. I mean, he's into quite a lot of things, and you watch his videos, and this is a man whose talents,
I mean,
when
he's
you
just a mega fan, isn't he?
yeah,
He
yeah,
he gets invited to all sorts of things, and he follows so many different. I mean, I'm quite stuck in my ways. I'm like Doctor Who,
yeah,
Star Wars, and a few other things, but he's
yeah.
like he loves everything.
His
He's a
energy,
ball of energy,
yeah,
isn't he?
his
Yeah,
energy is just off the chart, and he does pop into see my business partner Greg in Spawn Point a lot,
yeah,
and I mean and again I suppose this moves on to really about the card side of things, because obviously with my business partner being the owner co-owner of Spawn Point, we've got a few sponsors, Spawn
yeah.
Point being one of them, because I mean, he's built a phenomenal business. Greg and Hannah have
Mm.
built a really good business, in excuse me, Cardiff, and for Pops and Pokemon trading, and he has these little events. But we've managed, I mean, we're always looking for sponsors. So if anybody out there, wants to chat with us about sponsoring, becoming a sponsor, but we've got at the moment two good ones. We've got Barry Bados.
Yeah.
I mean, we couldn't do this without Barry Bados. We've got Matt Horn going, and Barry Bados have been a friend of the conventions as well. They helped us out in 2024, and he's helping us out. He's doing our shirts for us.
Yeah, yeah.
So and Lewis, who owns Barry Bados, is a lovely guy, and you know we're linking up with him for some projects which we'll announce soon.
Mm. Awesome, awesome. Um, right. I say time is never on our side, but are there anything that you want to sort of let people know? I mean, people will probably ask what times opening and closing on what certain days. Are there anybody not going to be there on Sundays? And also ticket prices or ticket arrangements.
Okay, so we so the times at the moment, I know this sounds daft, but we are still working on. It's probably going to be about 10 or 11 o'clock.
Yeah,
The reason we're still working on it is because we need to get it right with the memo.
yeah,
And we want to make sure, because what we're not doing, and just to clarify, is we're not going to be offering all these different early bird tickets or
yeah,
different kiddies tickets and stuff. We literally are going to offer either standard ticket or a weekend ticket.
Yeah, I think that's right because it can get confusing and people do want early bird tickets, but it also makes the people who have got standard tickets feel a little bit inferior. It's like, all right, so I mean, what does an early bird ticket get you? An extra hour? You get you
I
in
have
earlier, and it makes no difference really.
no, I
You
haven't
know,
seen it work well, to be honest, and
all
I've
it
done
does
it.
is confuse people when they're trying to buy a ticket.
And I mean, another thing that we another thing that we're doing. Firstly, is obviously making sure that the children attend going free.
Yeah,
I know other conventions pay for that, but our thinking behind this is that if you are going to your first convention, whether you're 40 or four or five,
yeah,
then at least it'd be nice for somebody to say that B3C was my first convention, but also it's nice to get the kids to go in there because we will have some children activities which we'll announce
yeah.
soon. Um,
And
so that
also, I mean, this is probably not going to be the case, but the way I think that might actually work out even better for kids is because if you're a parent and you want to go to a con and you bring your kid who's under 10, um, the last thing you want is to pay full price for an adult ticket to bring your kid in, and the kid doesn't like it and wants to leave straight away.
yeah.
At least you get the chance to go, well, there's no pressure. If the kid says, this is not for me, or can we go elsewhere? And so, you haven't been had that extra expense of buying a full ticket that doesn't really get the use. And I think that's fine.
And we are. I mean, we're utilising again the outside space, so we will have some cars there, which
Yeah,
we'll announce, and we'll have some props, which we'll announce. The Ghostbuster guys are going to be there again. South Wales and the Welsh Ghostbusters are going to be
yeah,
there, packs and doing what they do. The shenanigans that they come up with.
yeah,
So again, having your photos and all that type of thing. And the one thing that we've made sure that we've done for this year is because of the awareness now of things like neurodiversity, diversity, and LGBTQ, and
yeah,
quite rightly making sure that we're all an inclusive community. We want to make sure that if people have got any requirements,
yeah,
then we've got a specific person who is tuned to do that. So,
yeah,
for example, I mean, I'm neurodivergent myself, so I understand people who want to go and say, well, I may have ADHD, I might be autistic, I may have ASD, that type of thing.
yeah,
So we're going to plan for that. We're going to plan to have somebody and maybe a quiet area as well for people to go.
yeah.
So we want to, again, this is all about a family atmosphere. This is not us capitalizing on anything. This is us just turning around and saying, right, no matter who you are, no matter what you do, no matter how you dress, no matter whatever, we want you to come and we want you to enjoy yourself.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is that level of care and attention and making sure that essentially people are looked after and don't have too many issues or any problems, or if they do have problems, they know they can get them sorted and they can get them
Yeah,
addressed. I mean, that just builds good feeling, and that means people will come back again, even if somebody
yeah,
has a bad experience, but if it's been dealt with correctly, they'll go, I had a bad time, but it was fixed. And as a result, I was able to still enjoy the event. And that's going to go down just as well as a positive review because people will feel safe that they can go to an event. There's not going to be any trouble. There's not going to be anything, confusing or difficult. And they'll come back next year and the year again because it's a personal touch, you
and
know.
that's exactly what we want. I mean, again, if anybody who's got any links to charities or anything to do with neurodiversity or anything like that they want to make sure we're aware of, please contact us.
Mm,
Because we want to work with charities and organisations that can help us better make it easier for people to enjoy it. And as I said,
yeah,
we want to be. When I say we want to be inclusive, we mean we want to be inclusive. We want people to sort of, for this to be their first con. I know 2024 was a first for some people,
yeah.
and they turned up and they were, and even now we still get pictures sent through saying, do you know what, this was amazing.
Yeah, yeah, and they're like, I've never. So a lot of people did say in the comments, I've never actually been to a con like this before, and I didn't know what to expect. But all I know is that I had a good time,
Yeah.
and there is a charity aspect to this convention as well, isn't there?
There is, yeah. I mean, I mean, obviously, as I pointed out, I had some, personal loss last year. So what I asked to do, and what the other guys decided as well, which was great, was we're going to, the charity's going to be Marie Curie,
Yeah, yeah,
but more specifically, it's going to be Marie Curie, the Penarth
yeah,
Hospice,
yeah,
because they do. And when I say they do phenomenal work, I mean that they we do absolutely great work. So
yeah,
we'll be doing raffles. We will be doing, having things there. So there will be a lot of free stuff, but we would just ask you to be mindful when you see Marie Curie, and maybe give them a donation or
yeah.
and that. So you know, I,
Yeah, I mean, if you're enjoying the event, know
yeah,
that
please,
just pay it forward a little bit,
yeah,
We totally understand that, events, I mean, I've said this in previous videos that in some events you've got to travel right across the country. You've got to go to Manchester, Liverpool,
mm,
Birmingham, Bristol, whatever. And that eats into your spending money with accommodation and petrol and everything
yeah,
else. And then you've got to pay for guests and stuff. But if you're local and you're in Barry, and
mm,
you're having a nice enough time, then why not throw a pound into a charity bucket or whatever? Because it just it helps your own community really, and
yeah.
it shows your appreciation. And charity money goes to a good cause by
It
definition.
does. It does, and I think that sort of, as you said, paying back for what I went through,
Yeah,
and what last year couldn't happen. It is what I want to do, and my partners are the same with that. And I suppose again that brings us nicely on to one of our other partners, sponsors,
mm.
is Loaded Dice,
Yeah,
uh, who have come to Barry, and they do all the Warhammer and gaming stuff,
right.
and they're going to be there in force, and we're hoping, because they're sponsoring us as well, which is brilliant. What we're hoping to do as well is run some, hopefully maybe some D&D tournament, or
Oh, cool.
but hopefully that again that'll be for children, maybe to
Yeah,
do.
to get
Well,
into it.
hope for the logistics. Maybe we will try maybe a bit of figure painting and that type of thing.
Yeah,
But there will be something that Loaded Dice will do with us, and we will make sure that not only are they trading there, but that they offer some type of some
activity. Yeah,
activity as well. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. The other sort of spaces are used for example, we're going to be offering photograph opportunities. You can have your photo taken with whatever guest you want,
With the great Roger Hathaway photography
with
as well.
Roger Hathaway, and he's also bringing his green screen with him as well, so you
He's
can
got a
have
million different cool
uh,
backgrounds you can get
I mean
composited into.
that yeah, I mean that just blows me away when he does it. Roger's an amazing guy, and the fact that he's going to be doing two jobs, to wearing two hats at once, is going to be quite one funny to see. But
Yeah.
Roger can do it, if anybody. So that's another thing. Um, we hope to put prices of autographs, and we're hoping to put prices of a lot more things like the photos soon.
Yeah.
It's just what we're trying to do, and this is the behind the scenes bit of it. Is there's a lot of logistics to think about.
Well, I don't envy you because,
No,
it's
it's
so
so
many
little
moving
bit.
parts, isn't there?
There
And
is,
it's
yeah,
maths.
and bear in mind we've all got full time jobs as well, so we're doing
Yeah.
this, as and when we can. So, but if you want to get your tickets, I'm sure Terry will put the links up. But you can either go to the memo. They've got a ticket allocation, so if you're local and you want to walk down to the memo to the box office, you can get them there. Or if you want to go
Yeah.
online, they've got them. Or you can go to
I'll put all the links in the description
yeah,
if you're interested, and
yeah,
also more info in the bottom with all the
thanks, yeah.
Facebook links and stuff.
So
We've
so
got about 5 minutes left. So what I neglected to mention right at the beginning, even though I said I'd mention it, is that we've got a giveaway, haven't we?
yeah, we've got an exclusive giveaway for you.
Tell us about it.
So what we're going to do is we're giving Terry and his channel a pair of Sunday tickets, which you can use to as you see fit, I suppose. If you want to
Yeah.
raffle them or whatever competition you want, but there will be a set of tickets, up for grabs.
Yeah. So I don't know what method I'm going to use to get these tickets to people, or to work out who gets the ticket. But thanks to you guys, obviously, uh, letting me compare the event, which is
Absolutely.
something I'm super, super excited about, as you can tell. And then to viewers of this channel, um, subscribers, I will have two tickets from GLYN at some point, and we'll work out. It'll probably be just some really very easy question. It'll be first come, first served. You get a pair of tickets. There's no point in, if you live in the States, winning the competition if you
Exactly.
can't
Yeah.
attend the event. Make sure you can attend the event, obviously on the Sunday, and we'll get a pair of tickets out for yourself and a guest, and you'll get to see how it all goes down and meet the people and meet me and meet GLYN and meet everyone else, and have an awesome Sunday afternoon in Barry, in sunny Barry.
Yeah,
It's
I think
cool.
also another little plug doing. I think the Barry Island 10K is on as well. So
Right.
we're sitting just behind it, which is nice. Um, so I think the Vela are going to try and sort of link in with us as well, which would be great, because what will happen then is that there's going to be a lot of people who are watching the 10K, because that finishes about
Yeah.
12, I think, anyway. But they may come up and see us. You can go down and watch it first, and
Um,
then come up and see us.
yeah, and pop in.
So
It just makes a day of it, doesn't it?
it does, yeah, and and I think I mean, I've ran the Barry Island 10K, and if any of you runners out there fancy doing it, I would highly recommend it. It's an amazing run.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. It's so good. I don't think they've changed the course, but yeah, it's good. So yeah, I strongly recommend it. And this is the type of thing you want to see. For example, I mean, we always want feedback, and obviously with Terry, with yourself doing this channel, if this is like things you want to see, as well, then please let us know. Because
Yeah, absolutely. And
we're always happy, myself, Greg, or Dave, to come back on and
yeah.
update you on things that we're doing, or give you what's happening, that type of thing. It's not a problem.
Well, the good thing is, it's going to take place in May, so there's plenty of time for me to do more videos,
Yeah,
and push it as much as I can, because I think it's an event well worth supporting. And I'm,
I
like
do.
I say, I'm
Yeah,
always about the local and the smaller events anyway. I think you get more bang for your buck. It's more
yeah,
personal.
absolutely.
Um, and if you are in Wales and you don't like the idea of traveling miles and miles and getting accommodation like a lot of cosplayers and convention goers do, then this is a perfect event for you. So we've got 3 minutes left. So is anything else you think we might need to cover or mention, or give someone a shout out or anything like that?
No, I want to, give a shout out to my business partners, to Greg and Dave, because you know what it's not just, this isn't a single exercise. It's the three of us
Mm.
and the goodwill of people on the Facebook group as well that have
Yeah.
pushed us through. We've had an amazing response. We've got about 1,200 um, people on there, and it's just, and it's thank you to you all as well for giving us the confidence and giving us the support. And we prefer feedback, and we aim to make this the you know bigger and better each year, because we want to
Mm.
do it yearly. So yeah, and so myself, Greg, and Dave, are just very happy and excited to put this on for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this to you before, that basically, even if May's event is a carbon copy of the one from 2024, it will still be an amazing time for everyone. But this is shaping up to be like double that, triple that. So I think it's going to be, an absolute, people will be talking about it for the next couple of years.
It's a leap of faith from last year. I mean,
Sure.
we've gone from having a great pool of actors, but we've basically got people here locally who are people are astonished that we've got. But why I say to those people is, well, we've got them. Come and see them. The
Mm.
ticket prices, which are £20 for a day and £30 for the weekend. That's not breaking the bank, and you're going to
Yeah.
be able to go in and meet you know, um, someone or a few people of not only from Doctor Who, Red Dwarf, and science fiction, but also we've got stuff yet to announce
Yeah.
as well.
That's awesome. Right. Well, that's gonna be it. So thanks for sparing your evening. to talk to me all about this. I'm
Oh,
no doubt you'll be back on again.
I'm sure we
Um,
will,
I'm,
Terry. But
we're going to
thanks for
cut
having me
back
on.
to other Terry to do the close, and I hope you found that interesting. If you have any questions and suggestions, links and comments, obviously, and we'll see you then. So it's bye from me.
It's bye from me.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
There you have it. Hope that helps. The event, as you can see on screen, is in May this year. Tickets are, I would say, decently priced. It's £20 for Saturday or £20 for Sunday, but if you want to go both days, it's 30. Now, some people have said, oh, it's a bit much, isn't it? But at the end of the day, you don't have to travel to Birmingham or London or anywhere else. It's local for the people in South Wales. It's a really good lineup. It's a more independent event. It's not a massive chain that's profiteering like crazy. Any money they make, they're throwing back into next year's event, hopefully. And I think this is going to be pretty damn good. Look, you don't have to believe me, but last year, I don't think they had a single complaint, right? Anyway, that's what's going on in May. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you've got any questions, whether for myself or the organizers or anything regarding the con, let me know. Drop it in the comments. Keep it nice as usual, or you can DM me, or you can go on their Facebook pages and message the guys there. And yeah, it's going to be something different, something fun. I can't wait. Anyway, that's it for me this week. Take care now. Bye bye then.